Our next speaker is Dr. Raju Majhi, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, Banaras Hindu University, and he'll speak on impact of globalization on legal education. May I invite Dr. Majhi, sir.
Very good morning to one and all. Honorable Chairperson, other co-panelists, distinguished learned faculty members, and delegates and dear students. Once again, I would like to welcome you all and today's this session. As we are discussing a very burning topic, because the globalization, as you know that we are living in a globalization era. At the outset, let me congratulate to the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to share my thought on this burning issue. But my knowledge is very limited towards it. The reason behind it, because neither I am teaching this subject, nor I have done any research on this particular area. But I have some sort of private, you can say that experience, my own experience, which we are looking towards when we have started to read the education policy, the new education policy. Then we started to reading certain things, that what kind of things we can contribute as a person for the improvement of the legal education. As a part of the legal fraternity, I think it's a duty towards us. That might be the reason that it attracted me to, or you can say that some kind of assignment, which I think that it is our duty that we'll have to see this. And when the brochure come, when we decided that regarding the seminar, particularly the Centennial seminar, when we were discussing, at the time we thought that what would be the topic that law school in a Centennial celebrations, when we are going to organize a seminar. Then it anonymously comes in all of minds that it will be better that let us see that what kind of the contributions has been made by the faculty of law, as well as when we will invite the other galaxies, legal fraternity, the experts of the law, they will also share their experience as fighters, and that's how we can contribute for the improvement of the legal education in our country. So in this background, just I'm coming. As my friends, the Uday Shankarji already make me easier or put me in a very comfortable zone, because most of the things which I would like to speak, he has already mentioned, he has already spoken. So it's, I'm not going to discuss on that part. The topic which I have chosen before you to speak certain things, or which I like to put before this others gathering as a questions, that how we can come forward and we can complete the globe as one of the missions, as we know that our prime ministers, or as a citizens of this country, that we are moving towards that India become a Vishwa Guru. So naturally, each and every citizens must have some sort of role, the positive, you can say, constructive way, that we can give some, you can say, the education to the global community. So that might be that this part, that is the legal educations, may have help to give some sort of, you can say, the solutions to promote the peace and security throughout the world. As we know that we are advocating, always we are advocating that the global, its entire universe is one, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. With this objective, if we really wish to achieve that objective, it's a duty towards the legal fraternity also, that they'll have to come forward. But as far as the legal educations which will have the existing, the practical aspect, if you'll see that we are somewhere we fail to achieve that. Always we are talking about that the Bar Council of India, because 1961 onwards, that the Bar Council is the regulating authority as far as to regulate the legal education. But as far as my understanding that the Bar Council of India is only prescribing what would be the minimum, any legal institutions or the law schools, the law colleges, if those who are imparting legal education, they must have maintained the minimum standards. I don't think that the Bar Council of India, anywhere, it is restricted as far as concerned that to introduce any new things. I'm telling you very practical things. When I joined these institutions in the year 2007, my friend Rajneesh Singh is here. Then we find at the time that to introduce the new subject which is need of the hour. And one of that is the intellectual property rights. So, though we were very new, the Rajneesh did his research on the intellectual property rights. So, he encourages that no, it's a need of the hour that we'll have to introduce the intellectual property rights. So the first time I started to reading that what you mean by the intellectual property rights. So that you can understand the situations, that what kind of situations we felt at the time. So we tried to introduce the new subject at far as concerned to cater the need of the, you can say, hour which are required. So every time there are some problems which the institutions are facing. I think that the institutions, sometimes what I felt that we are only trying to meet out what are the minimum requirement. And mostly we are restricted towards it. Okay, that the Bar Council prescribes all the things, we'll have to go with that. I don't think, I'm not sure that where we are failed, that the Bar Council is prescribing the minimum percentage of attendance. That means it is imposed and we are getting all the things on that the imposed mechanism. Do we think that we are self-accelerated ourselves, or we would like to do as our mission or as our job? If we'll think that in that way, then I don't think that any kind of the mechanism that must be enforced by the outer agencies. If you wish to learn, if you wish to get education, then I think that this kind of, you can say, the mechanisms if there, that the no minimum things is, if it is imposed, and then it's very difficult. And the second thing which I felt that recently I was attending a workshop. The workshop is based on that to develop the psychological, you can say, the well-being of the students. It is going on throughout the teachers in our institutions. So they are talking about that why the students are not coming to the class, and the agencies like this, regulating agencies, whether the UGC or that you can say the Bar Council of India, as focus on the legal education, it is talking about that the minimum attendance is required. But in the practical, what we are doing, if we'll see that sometime, I'm not blaming that whether the Bar Council of India is failed to do because the inspecting authority that is conducting the inspection, etc. But very surprisingly, when I'm also the part of it, because when we're going to take any kind of, you can say that the Viva VOC of any private institutions, at that time we find that the students, they are, even they don't know that the name of the subject. So what kind of legal educations we are imparting to our students? If the situations are like this, if the conditions are prevailing in this like this, so the Udayji, what he has mentioned, that can we compete in the global, are we preparing, although that he described that all the institutions that we have mentioned in our mission, or you can say that the vision, that the one very, you can say the objective, that is to compete globally. So I don't think that we are. Sometimes I am very much surprised that when we are talking about you can say the statement which is coming from the highest authority, that our purpose of legal education is to make them students to enter into, you can say, either in the bar or the bench. And even in our conditions, when we are talking about that, our students, those who are coming to the BHU, our students, they are very much interested to join the bench side. They are not willing to join the bar side. And the reason behind it is that the students, they are very much, you can say, confined their knowledge, you can say, that to prepare competitive examinations. And though they are not, trying to get the opportunity in the other areas. The most of the time I am talking with the students because I got an opportunity to serve as a student advisor for very longer period, that is 8 years. So in that 8 years I have experienced that when I am talking to the students, they are talking about my objective is that to click the judiciary examination. They never thought about that I will become a good lawyer or I will contribute in the any other way. So I never heard any students. So, and we are also very proud that we are the factory of judges. We are also, with that, we are very proud, because the majority of the students, they are getting chance to click the examinations and they are appointed as a judicial magistrate, and not only in the particular this estate, in the other estates also. So we are also very proud of that part. But can we compete with that in that situations? The objectives which will have that to globally we will have to compete. So as far as my understanding, that recommendation, if we'll see, then what I find that still we are lacking the infrastructure. Although that the Bar Council has prescribed a certain minimum requirement, I don't know that when I am visiting some of the colleges, then I find they are not qualifying that requirement, but they are imparting the educations. So we'll have to think about in the real sense, in the practical sense, how it is going on. I'm not blaming any authority that how it happens, but we'll have to think over it if really we wish to globally compete. The second thing which I like to mention here that the curricula is very important, because I'm taking the international law. Then when I'm discussing with the students, they are not showing very interest on this particular subject, as I have told you, that the reason behind the judiciary, because they are not. So we have both the private international law and the BLLB course that we have in our curricula, that we are imparting. We are talking about that private international law, but we don't have in the 3 years courses. In 3 years courses we have only that is the public international law. But as far as concerned, that to compete globally, that what I think that the comparative study is very much required, which we are lacking. I don't think that what kind of, you can say, the situations are prevailing in the National Law School University, but as far as the traditional university, I have talked with many of my friends, those who are working as a faculty member in the traditional universities. They find that no, we don't have that kind of, we are going through the, as I have told you, that to enable them either to click the judiciary examinations or some extent to the bar. So that is the another, you can say, the obstacle for the global education. So we'll have to think in that way. We'll have to change the entire change, and no doubt that we'll have to incorporate certain Indian values on that education systems. And I'm not saying that we will not welcome. We'll have to see that when we are making our syllabus, then we'll have to think about that there must be the comparative study. Otherwise, how we can attract, when we are talking about that the global university, or you can say the foreign university will establish, that what they will teach, what kind of education they are going to impart, from where they will get the students, unless and until you have a comparative study. And the comparative study, when we are talking about that, we need some sort of, you can say, the independency, your autonomy we required. And that Bar Council has to think in that way. The institutes must give the autonomy to choose their own, so that they can introduce their own subject according to usually cater the need of the hour. And the last thing which I would like to go with as Uday Shankar has already mentioned, that the institutions that has to be, you can say, the public funded, and so that although we cannot, otherwise we are moving towards in the different situations that the foreign university, when they will come, they will establish, then naturally their fees structures are entirely the different from our, because how we regulate their fee structures and the other things. It's very, you can say, the Herculean task before the government and the regulating authorities. So we'll have to think on that. And we will see, we are very much hoping that we will be able to find out all these problems, and we will get the solutions over it, so that the India can compete in a, you can say, globally in the legal education. Thank you. Thank you very much.